Let's talk about something kind of weird. Have you ever had that feeling where you're making good money, like maybe $200,000 a year, but you still feel totally broke? You're living paycheck to paycheck and you just don't get it. Well, if that's you, you're not crazy. Your salary might be climbing, but your net worth, the money you actually have, is just stuck. This isn't just a bad feeling, it's a real trap that's eating away at your future. Wow, a more expensive vulnerability. Just let that sink in for a second. It really hits home, doesn't it? You're working harder than you ever have before. Your income is looking great on paper, but your actual financial foundation, it feels like it could all crumble tomorrow.
All right, so what's the deal here? How is it possible for someone with a fantastic salary to have nothing to show for it? Let's really dig in and figure this out.
Here's the thing. You probably don't have an income problem. What you have is a structural problem. And it turns out there are three invisible forces, three thieves, let's call them, that are quietly stealing your wealth. It's time to put a name to them. Okay, first up, and this one is the most sneaky, is the insecurity tax. This is that pressure you feel to look the part. You know, as your income goes up, society starts whispering in your ear that you need to upgrade everything to match. You have to buy the symbols of success to prove to everyone that you finally made it. And here is the absolute classic example. You hit that certain income level, and all of a sudden, your perfectly good, reliable car just doesn't feel right anymore. So you go get that beautiful, shiny $80,000 luxury machine. You look at the monthly payments, you think, yeah, I can swing that, and you sign on the dotted line. And just like that, you've fallen right into the trap. But here's where we need a major mental shift. People who actually build wealth, they don't ask, can I afford the payment? They ask a totally different question. What else could this money be doing for me? They get the idea of opportunity cost. So what is the real cost of that car? Well, if you took that same 80 grand and just invested it, let's say at a pretty standard 10% return over 20 years, it's not $80,000 anymore. It's more than $500,000. That's the real price tag on that car. And this is what it's really all about. You didn't just trade your money for some nice leather seats and a fancy logo. No, you traded a massive chunk of your freedom. You traded years of your life that you could have bought back with financial independence, all so you could maybe impress a stranger at a red light. Now, that first thief, it has a partner in crime. Let's talk about the exhaustion tax. Because those high-stress 60-hour work weeks you need to pull to afford that fancy lifestyle, they drain your single most important asset, your mental energy. When your brain's RAM is totally maxed out, it stops making good long-term decisions. It just wants comfort right now. You're too fried to cook, so you tap a button and get a $50 food delivery. You're so burnt out that you don't even book a vacation for fun anymore. You book a $15,000 anesthesia trip just to numb yourself from your job. Your big salary isn't buying you freedom, it's just paying for the coping mechanisms you need to survive. And when you combine the first two thieves, all those high costs from the insecurity tax and the expensive coping from the exhaustion tax, you basically build yourself a perfect prison. This brings us to the final thief, the survival break-even trap. This is when your monthly bills are so high, they're sitting right up against your income. You have zero wiggle room, no buffer at all. And when you're in that fragile state, a totally normal life event turns into a complete disaster. A simple $500 car repair isn't just an annoying expense. It's a catastrophe that can wipe out months of careful saving. You're right back to square one, not because you were dumb, but because your whole system was designed to be fragile. Okay, so those are the thieves: insecurity, exhaustion, and the break-even trap. Pretty grim, right? But here's the good news. There is a way to fight back. And it's not about earning more money. It's about installing a brand new operating system in your brain. It's time to talk about the inner scorecard. So look at this. On the left, you've got the outer scorecard. That's the game most of us are taught to play. It's all about what your neighbors think, about what you can afford each month, and the shiny stuff you buy. But on the right, that's the inner scorecard, and it's a completely different game. It's based on your principles, on opportunity cost, and on the wealth you build by not wasting your money. You just have to decide which game you're actually playing.
And if you want to see the master of the inner scorecard, look no further than Warren Buffett. I mean, this quote says everything. The guy is a billionaire, and he lives in a house he bought for 31 grand because it works. He could not care less what a magazine reporter thinks. His choices are based entirely on his own definition of what's enough.
Okay, so this isn't just some nice idea, it's an actual plan. So let's get practical. How do you escape this trap? We're gonna lay out a plan you can start like today. It's simple, but you have to commit to it. All right, here's your 3-step escape plan. First, you have to define enough. For real, sit down and figure out the actual number you need to feel secure and sleep well at night. Not the number to buy a yacht, the number for peace of mind. Second, embrace subtraction. Go through your spending and be absolutely ruthless. If an expense doesn't bring you real, genuine joy, cut it. And third, identify your ego tax. Find that one big thing you're spending money on mostly because of what other people will think. So I want you to think about that right now. For real. What is it for you? What's the one thing you're paying for that's really just about managing how other people see you? Is it the car? Is it that expensive watch? The fancy zip code? Be honest with yourself. What's the one ego tax you're going to cut? Because ultimately, this is what it all boils down to. Your financial life, it's not a show you're putting on for an audience. It is the foundation that you are building for your own life, your own freedom. It's time to stop performing for the crowd and start building for yourself.